for me having zero following, like very low engagement on my social media and newsletters, I was still able to at least earn $2,000. That's not to say all of you will, but I'm at least saying that like it's possible, right? You can earn more than what you normally would. So that's why I'm here and why I'm advocating for. Stay tuned for the middle and end of the video because I have a very special announcement, and this video I'm going to take you through that announcement to kind of teach you what I'm trying to teach you in this video, and it's going to be super special, so stay tuned. You do not want to miss it. Hey story nerds, I'm Joanna White, author and book dragon. Around here we talk books, storycraft, and the messy author life. So today I'm going to be giving you one of the best ways that I know to make money. Also, let me know if you guys like the new intro. I'm trying out different ones, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So how to make money as an author. I think that's the number one way that we all, like, that's what we all want to know. That's what we're all trying to figure out. And before I get into this video, I want to do a disclaimer. I am not coming at you with one of those videos where I'm going to lead you to a course that's going to cost like thousands of dollars. I'm not promising you that I'm going to teach you how to make thousands of dollars. I'm a very, very low income author. And in fact, the last 2 years on my taxes, I've come out in the red, which means my business is not making a profit, and I have to make a profit this year or I will get in trouble, or all the things, right? So this is very serious. I make maybe anywhere from $10 to like $30 a month from Amazon, and that was when I had BookFunnel. I've since had to cancel BookFunnel because it's $100 a year, and I can't afford that anymore. And that was the only thing bringing in my income. So I'm looking for new ways to bring money in as an author, and I'm coming at this with like I feel you. I am right here with you. We are all in the trenches together. So without further ado, let's get out of the trenches and rush into no man's land head first, trying to dodge all of these bombs and bullets that will kill our business and keep us from selling books, and let's figure this out together. So Kickstarter is what I'm going to be talking about today. And I know some of you may be like, I'm not doing Kickstarter. It's too much work. This is what I'm here for. I'm going to teach you everything you will need to know to run your first Kickstarter. It's not going to be all in one video, but I want you guys to see this, that for me personally in my life, like I'm coming at this from I made nothing. Okay, my books have done nothing. I don't have a fandom. I have maybe like 3 people I can count on one hand that actually do enjoy my books, that are not like family. They are still friends of mine, so that technically counts, and one of them is my editor. And I have maybe 2 other author friends that I know genuinely have enjoyed my books. And so so consistently I could potentially sell maybe like 2 books if I tried myself. Okay. I suck at marketing. I'm not good at it. I'm trying to learn how to be better at it. Okay. So that's the second thing. So I'm coming at this very much like I am one of you standpoint. Okay. I'm not rich. I'm not an expert. I just have my personal experience. And in my experience, I have 2 successful Kickstarters now, 2 years in a row, where I have made more money than I have the rest of my life publishing. So I've been published since 2019. I was traditionally published first, and I was self-published after that. I don't know what year I started self-publishing. It might have been 2021 or somewhere in there. So I have experience from both sides of the aisle. My first year being traditionally published, I made $60. That was it. So it was a very small publisher. Last year, I actually achieved a goal of having a first book signing that I did with another author. So it was like a co-book signing where she was signing her books and selling her books. I was signing my books and selling my books. And I made $60 in one night, which was at once. And that was as much as I made in 1 year, my first year of publishing. So it was a huge milestone for me last year, like selling $60 worth of books in person to people. So that was a big thing. So yeah, it's very, very low income and stuff. So that's where I started from. In 2024, I ran my first Kickstarter, which was Immortal. And I also released, at the same time I released Immortal, I made my omnibus. You can see those right here. So this is the omnibus. I knocked over one of my dragon eggs. The omnibus hardback, the omnibus paperback, and then Immortal's hardback and Immortal's paperback. So that was my first Kickstarter producing those. My biggest mistake was I did 2 different, like the omnibus and Immortal, and I should have done one or the other, but I did earn over $2,000 from that Kickstarter alone. So to me, the hard work and the effort is worth it. Now, before you completely shut down this idea, I want to ease you guys into this and make it as simple and easy as possible, because I've been in the trenches. I have put in the work, blood, sweat, and tears, like all of the things. And I have learned and grown and made mistakes. And I'm going to continue to learn and grow and make mistakes. And I'm going to tell you guys all of those lessons and mistakes and tips and tricks so that you guys have like a more direct sort of guidance and can avoid the mistakes that I made and stuff like that and what I've learned. My second Kickstarter was last year, and it was Survivor, which I actually don't have with me right here because it's on this shelf, and I can't reach it because I'm going through its audiobook, but I did release Survivor, so it was like the paperback, the ebook, the paperback, the hardback. And as always, because I have a big series, I offer tiers that have the whole series in ebook and paperback form. So, and that one earned $2,000, just a few dollars more than Immortals, and that was last year in 2025. So that's 2024, 2025. I've ran one Kickstarter a year, and both of them got around $2,000 with me. And I have no following. I have like barely any, like I have followers on Instagram that's like about 1,000 or so, but I have very, very low engagement. I get maybe like 1 to 5 likes. I get maybe 1 comment from my editor, maybe a couple from some family members on Facebook. Like I get 0 engagement. I cannot run ads on Facebook because I've been banned from Facebook. So that's a whole nother ordeal. I don't have the money to run Amazon ads. I don't know anything about running ads. My primary source for this and the primary people that I got from this was from the Kickstarter for Authors group and doing author swaps. And I feel like their audience kind of I also had 2 different newsletters, but very low engagement, very low open click rate, like all of that stuff. So, and at minimum, like that's where I'm at. What am I trying to say? Okay. What I'm saying is, for me having 0 following, like very low engagement on my social media and newsletters, I was still able to at least earn $2,000. That's not to say all of you will, but I'm at least saying that like it's possible, right? You can earn more than what you normally would. So that's why I'm here and why I'm advocating for Kickstarter for authors now, or for Kickstarter, joining Kickstarter as an author. So what is Kickstarter? Let's start with that, because some of you may not know what it is. It is a crowdfunding platform designed for creators to help bring their projects to life. So it's not just books. You'll find like games are really, like video games, board games are really popular, like Dungeons and Dragons and the role-playing kind of board games are really popular. There's a lot of tech and stuff that's popular on there. There is a huge wave of authors moving to Kickstarter, and I've seen it. It's been growing. Like every year there are more and more books coming in since even when I first started. And the different genres are doing well. Different genres do better in different seasons, and there are certain seasons of Kickstarter where it's in and when it's out, and it kind of has to do with like consumers. You have to think from the consumer perspective. Like for instance, I did Immortals, I think, was in the late summer, and people are getting ready to go back to school, so now they're not spending a lot of money, or they're coming back from vacation, and so it's not a good season for Kickstarter. So I think, I can't remember, but I think spring is one of the really good prime times for Kickstarter, but that's a whole nother thing. So yeah, so there's a huge wave of authors using Kickstarter now I prefer to have the book fully written and fully edited first. Now, some of you and some of us may have to use Kickstarter to afford to hire our editors or cover designers, whatever you're doing. And in which case it's important to set deadlines and be as open and honest with your audience as possible to make it clear, like when, you're going to have this out and like how long the process is going to be and all that stuff. So you can use it before the book is done. I would suggest at least making sure you have the book written first and being honest, like, hey, I need this, the money from this Kickstarter is going to go toward, cover design and editing and making this book happen. What I do is I use the previous book in the series to pay for the next one. So a lot of the money that I did for Survivor helped me pay for editing for my other books too, but also for like Warrior. So I've been getting the next 2 books in the Valiant series. I have them paid off and I'm working with them on my editor. And so Warriors will go toward paying for the next few and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the general sense of like how I do it. Obviously you can do whatever works best for you and like what you need your finances for, because you could also just profit all of this. You may not need to use this money to pay for your books. You can profit it once you pay and send off your Kickstarter, like all of your gifts, the rewards to your Kickstarter backers, the money has to be used for that first. And once you have all of that done, the rest of it is profits. You can use it for what you want. I prefer just to put it back into my business, but that's kind of bit me in the butt because of my taxes. But anyways, so, but here's the thing. A lot of the genres that I'm seeing on Kickstarter, there's a huge fantasy. Like, it's big on fantasy. I don't see as much contemporary. There are some like mystery thriller type ones that do very well. There is some sci-fi, and some sci-fi, like, it does better in different seasons and whatnot. But the primary one is fantasy. Now you have two different camps, and also, romance, basically. Fantasy and romance are the huge genres. Now you have the clean contemporary romance, you have the rom-com style romances, you have the sweet and cozy kind of ones, you have the romantasy. Both, a lot of primary ones are like spicy romantasy. There is cozy and no spice romantasy. One of the authors that I follow here on YouTube, as of the time I'm filming this, her Kickstarter is running, and she's a no spice romantasy author, which I really appreciate. And she does a no spice fae romance, which is like rare because all fae romances have spice in them except for hers, from what I've seen. So Bethany Adizada, it's The Liar in the Hollow Court, I believe. If you guys want to go check that out, I will have a link to it in the description below, just in case you guys are curious. I'm not affiliated. I support her a lot. So anyways, yeah, there's the low spice and no spice camp. There's the spicy camp. There's the regular fantasy. There's the romance fantasy. There's contemporary romance. There's the dark fantasy, dark romance, which can sometimes be dark romance in the contemporary setting. There can be the dark romantasy. Those are very heavy, very spicy, that sort of camp. But here's the thing, that I am a Christian author, and I write my stuff in a way that non-Christians can enjoy the book and still like not get preached at and all that stuff. But I still write for the glory of God, to show God's light in the darkness. I write very gritty stuff compared to what most Christians approve of or are okay with. I'm also really desensitized to violence, so my books can get pretty violent sometimes. It's like a Christian Game of Thrones level of no spice, no nudity, but heavy violence, right? And no character safe. You know, it's like, I am a I am a Christian Game of Thrones style author. So just as to kind of give you guys a little bit of context there, but I write it in a way that's like Lord of the Rings or Chronicles of Narnia, where it's like the parallels are there if you know them. If you don't know them, you're probably going to miss it and you won't get preached at. So if you're not a Christian, don't feel like turned off or away from this. But what I want to see is a rise in Christian content, Christian books on Kickstarter. And I've heard of several stories of the no spice romantasy camp. Like when one chick, when she first joined, there was like no one there, and she had to get all of her author friends to like move to the platform and start doing more Kickstarters. And now you see a rise where there is actually because at the time, if you're the only one, you have no one in your genre to swap with. Now I swapped with everybody I could, because I picked a bad time for Survivor's Kickstarter, and it was the off season, so there was like very little other Kickstarters going on. So I swapped with everybody that I could. But you really should be only swapping with people in your genre. And so she had to bring those people in order for her to have people to swap with. And now no spice romantasy is actually kind of on the rise, and I want to see it continue to grow. And it may be you're a Christian author who doesn't write overtly Christian stuff, but you're still in the no spice camp. Maybe you're not a Christian, but you're still in the no spice romantasy camp, or just fantasy without a romance in it, that's where the romance is more of a subplot instead of a main plot, that sort of thing. But the point is, I want to get more people on the platform that are like me, right, where they write the kind of content that I write, whether it's Christian overtly or not. Make it like no spicy, like clean, kind of just really good fantasy, sci-fi, speculative fiction, essentially. Because I also write, and I'm a multi-genre author, so I write in also contemporary. I do military romantic suspense. So I'm a huge multi-genre author, but I would love to see a wave of Christian fantasy in this platform, and I feel very like by myself, very alone. Even if I really relate to a lot of the no spice romantasy authors out there, I still would love to see a wave of Christian fantasy authors and just Christian authors in general kind of move to the platform, because I know that we're not making as much money as we should be, and a lot of us are turning to like editing, cover designing, audiobook design. Like, we have secondary jobs that like are our primary source of income to provide, because our books aren't selling as much as they should be and as much as we deserve to be getting paid for our books. And Kickstarter is the best way. I could not have ever dreamed of earning $2,000 for a book launch. And like both Immortal and Survivor, so my previous 2 book launches, did that only because of Kickstarter. Their main releases flopped because I forgot I had a surgery when Survivor came out, so I didn't even manage to put together an art team. It's got maybe 1 or 2 reviews on there, which I'm so thankful for the people who have reviewed it, by the way. And then I forgot to do I didn't do a really good ARC team setup for Immortal because I suck at that. So that's something I need to be investing in the future. So the point is, their main release is completely flopped, but I earned over $2,000. I had to use part of that to send off the books and everything. So I didn't pocket that much. And then I put it right back into the series and ended up negative last year. But the point is, I earned that much in a book launch, and I never could have imagined ever doing that. Like, right, I don't even earn that much from being an editor, and because I charge way less than what I should for my services. But either way, so I would love to see a huge wave of people joining the Kickstarter platform, even though that's going to make competition a lot harder. It would be really amazing for us to support each other in it. But how do you do a Kickstarter? Like, the first thing that I want to point you guys to is the Kickstarter for Authors group on Facebook. Even if you have no intention and you think you have no intention of ever doing a Kickstarter, join the group. It's free to join the group, and you don't have to comment, you don't have to like, you don't have to participate. Just scroll through. They have so many resources in the Kickstarter for Authors group, and all you can do is just be a shadow in the darkness. They never know you're there, and you can just like read and follow and like go through all of their resources. It's like, it's worth an entire course. So like, you know, taking a course online for like thousands of dollars on how to make 7 figures, whatever, you know, you guys have all seen those kind of ones. It's worth all of that because every author in the Kickstarter for Authors group has put together like things that they know, the tips and tricks, and so you can learn so much from that group. Second thing I would suggest is go buy Anthea Sharp's Kickstarter for Authors book. She just re-released a new version updated of it, so it's like the 2025 edition with all the updated stuff because the platform has changed over the years. She also, I think Anthea Sharp also has a free checklist, or it's in the book, of like everything that you need to know. It's like a checklist, so you can just, okay, I got this done, I got that done, I need to do this next, that sort of thing. And then I'm going to take you through, because so my special announcement is that I really wanted to do a spring Kickstarter, and then I realized this year is Hunter's 7th anniversary. Hunter has been published for 7 years. It first got published, I think, in 2019. It first got published in 2019 with a traditional publisher and completely different cover. It's been through like 5 or 6, 7 editions, covers, like all the things. And I was like, I want to make this special and celebrate how far I've come, because I never could have imagined earning $20 for a book launch, let alone $60, let alone $2,000. Like, that was a dream. I never imagined looking at Hunter and seeing what it could become. I never imagined getting as far in the Valiant series and publishing now, where I'm preparing for Remnant and Warrior books 7 and 8 or whatever. I never could have imagined that. I mean, when I finished writing the Valiant series, I was lost, and I didn't know if I would ever write a whole nother book again, let alone another series. So I could not have imagined myself planning Kickstarters and book launches for all these other book series that I have going out. And I just want this to celebrate Hunter and the Valiant series and what started it all and my publishing journey, and just make this really special and do this unique edition of Hunter. And I want to prepare this. And so before I got started, I was like, I want to teach you guys and take you guys through because I've done Kickstarter videos before. I'll have them linked below. And I took you through my process, and the more you guys can consume and like see people doing it and watch people doing it and hear about doing it, reading about all of the resources in the Kickstarter for Authors group, going through Anthea's book, like the more you consume, the more you'll get a hang on it before you do your first. And it's going to be scary. Every Kickstarter is terrifying. Your first one is scary, and there's going to be, like, no matter how much you prepare, there's going to be things that are unexpected. But I want to take you guys through this process, and I encourage you guys to do it with me. And I'm probably going to make mistakes, but I'm trying to walk you through that so that hopefully you have a easier, smoother process than I did. Hey guys, this is Editing Joanna here. I didn't actually have Hunter's Anniversary Edition fully planned or figured out at the time that I recorded this. I'm editing this a few weeks later, so I actually wanted to talk to you in more detail about Hunter's Anniversary Edition. So Hunter's 7th Anniversary Edition, this is just the regular book, is going to have a special letter written by me about the anniversary and the hunter's journey and all of that stuff. It's going to have the dedication, so it's going to have an anniversary edition letter is what I call it. It's going to have the Valiant series timeline. I made a visual timeline of the Valiant series with the covers, and it's beautiful, so that's going to be in there. I have actually hired my artist to design a brand new illustration of Hunter, and that's not only going to be in the book, it's going to be part of the book's new cover. So the ebook's going to have that, and I'm hoping I can do a paperback and a hardback edition. And if I can, the paperback edition will have the new illustration cover, which I will show you guys in 3, 2, 1. You guys this is the first look at the new illustration. And if I can do it, the paperback's going to have that. And if I can do it also, I would like to do a hardback where the hardback dust jacket cover is this one, but on the actual hardback book itself will just be the plain illustration with no text. It's going to have different chapter style headers. So each chapter in the Valiant series has the Valiant series logo that I made as the chapter headers, if I can get to the right page here. Which is the snake and the sword. So the chapter headers are going to look completely different. I have a full page spread for each chapter header that I'm going to try to do. 7 years of Hunter, so it's going to be like a timeline of like Hunter's story. The timeline of like the publication story for it. It's going to have a Spotify playlist page for Hunter, and it's going to have a digitally signed page because I'm not physically signing them if I can keep from it. I'm going to try drop shipping, and then we may have stretch goals for the actual illustrations instead of this full page image here. So that's the anniversary edition for Hunter, but some of you may not even know what Hunter is. So I wanted to talk about that as well. Stay with me here, especially if you're just here to learn about Kickstarter. Stay with me. Do you want a Mulan-inspired heroine who disguises herself as a man and infiltrates a Hunger Games style outdoor arena death prison to save her dying brother? What if the most lethal hunter, engineered to track and eliminate every inmate, went to undercover as a prisoner to expose her? What happens when their collision sparks a no-spice, slow burn enemies to lovers romance that could destroy them both? In Zagerah, identity is a death sentence. Every man inside is hunted. Every hunter is engineered to kill without hesitation. Averella disguises herself as a man to rescue her dying brother, knowing that if her secret is discovered, she won't just be executed. She'll become one of them. Jared has never questioned his orders. Stronger and faster than any human, he exists to eliminate inmates and protect the regime. When a new prisoner arrives with suspicious potential, Jared goes undercover. Neither knows the other is living a lie. In Zagerah, identity is a death sentence. The only question is whose. This is perfect for readers who love intense, morally gray, enemies to lovers tension like Rumi and Ginu from K-pop Demon Hunters, and also Damon and Elena from the Vampire Diaries, specifically the TV show, and also perfect for anyone who secretly wanted Zuko and Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender to be together. Hope you guys enjoy. The link to the Kickstarter edition, the 7th anniversary Kickstarter edition of Hunter, will be in the description below. I think right now, you guys, by the time you guys are watching this, I'm just getting followers. So if you click notify me on launch on the Kickstarter page, it'll notify you as soon as the campaign goes live, and it'll keep you updated on that. And that's all you have to do. It's completely free for you guys to follow the campaign, and you may be interested in that. I will have the cheapest tier, I think, will be $5 to $10 for the ebook, 5 or 10, I haven't decided yet. So check that out, and you don't want to miss this exclusive thing, especially if you're a fan of action-packed epic fantasy, enemies to lovers romantasy that is no spice, and all of the things that I mentioned: Mulan-inspired, Hunger Games-inspired, Rumi and Ginu from K-pop Demon Hunters, Damon and Elena from Vampire Diaries. It has a moment like Michaela and Sully from Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, which is really tender. And also, if you wanted Zuko and Katara to be together, like I said. Back to the video, though. Again, the link will be in the description below. And I hope I'm not teaching you wrong. So that's why I said go check out Enthia's book. She's the master, and go check out the Kickstarter for Authors group. I'll have her book linked below and the Kickstarter for Authors group linked below, as well as resources for you guys. I'm not affiliated with any of this. I'm not trying to get money out of you guys. I am literally trying to just take you guys through the process, walk you through this, and teach you so that you guys can start actually making money off of your books like we all deserve. And hopefully to see a wave of Christian authors on Kickstarter. Even if you don't write overly Christian stuff, you're still coming at it from a biblical worldview, or you just write clean, no spice books. I would love to see a wave of this. So I'm starting a movement, guys. Like, let's do this. All right. I'm so excited. Okay. So for mine, I'm doing a 7th anniversary edition of Hunter. So I have several options. I could take the easy route, and my original idea was to just do an all digital one where I don't have any physical tiers. Now that's not going to do as well, and it's not going to make as much money because people on Kickstarter are here for the physical tiers. They're here for the special edition hardbacks. They want foiled covers, sprayed edges, illustrated end papers. They want the, you know, case laminate underneath the dust jacket. I guess I should probably walk you guys through the basics of, let's do my omnibus. Well, let's do Immortal actually. So first of all, we're going to go over the very basics, and I'm not treating you guys like idiots. It's just like, I didn't know any of this when I first started or what any of this was called. So it'd be nice to kind of have a little bit of an overview of what am I even talking about. For those of you who don't know, I didn't know. And so for those of you who do know, you can skip this part if you want to, but this is obviously a hardback. The front, this obviously is called the dust jacket. So this is the outer jacket of the hardback. So this is sometimes called the case laminate, and usually a lot of people love having an illustration on it. So like the main cover of the dust jacket would be one thing, and for instance, you'd have a picture of the couple and it would kind of be a full image on the front and back, right, of the hardback. And then you have the interior. So this part, when you first open up the book, for those of you who can't see what I'm talking about, this would be the end papers. Okay, that's the very first, not even the first page. It's just like the back of the hardback, case laminate and stuff. So then you'd have illustrations there too. You could have a map. I don't actually have a map in this one because it's historical fiction. I did add maps to the back from some of the different eras. So that's just a few. You got maps, you've got illustration. I know in Survivors, which I don't have with me, I had illustrations at the end. I think actually, is this the Kickstarter edition or is this my one from Amazon? I don't know. Yes. Okay. So I added a character guide with sketches designed by my editor, H.A. Pruitt, at the end of mine. I also put the illustrations in there. I added the playlist. A lot of people love playlist from Spotify. And so what I did, I think I did a QR code so that people who had the thing, if you don't have Spotify, you can just scan the code. It'll take you right there. I'm looking for the illustrations. I don't know where the illustrations went. Hold on. So I added the illustrations in black and white in the end. So because I didn't do sprayed edges, I made it special. So if you don't know how to do sprayed edges and foiled laminate, don't worry. I don't either. I've never managed to do like a special edition. Okay, I need all these trinkets to not be there. And I made, okay. So I have never done like a special edition like that. So if you don't, you can make your edition special in other ways, as we've just talked about. So my original intention for Hunter was to do a digital tier, an all digital Kickstarter, even though everybody's here for the special editions. And the thing is, do not sell yourself short. Do not cheapen your books. People on Kickstarter, the book readers on Kickstarter who are paying for these Kickstarters for these books, expect high priced, reasonably high price, like within reason, obviously not crazy. They expect expensive books because they're paying for the hardbacks, the special editions, all the things, right? So they're expecting to pay $50 to $80 for a hardback. They're expecting to pay $30 to $40 for a paperback. They're expecting to pay $5 to $10 for an ebook. So be reasonable and set yourself, like, don't sell yourself short. They're here. Like I never would have believed that any of my higher level tiers, like, cause I had the one with all three of the hardbacks. So I had the Omnibus hardback and then Immortals hardback and then Survivors hardback. And they were each like, the Omnibus is $100 because it's 5 books in one and they're like $20 a piece. The Hunter or Immortal and Survivors was like $50 a piece. So that was like $200. It was a $200 tier for the 3 hardbacks. And I had like 1 or 2 people still doing it. I had one person pay like $100 for all of the paperbacks. I had one person do an add-on where he ordered like 3 copies of each book. So he had like, it was a massive pile. I'll put a picture up on the screen if I can find a picture of it. Cause it was like this high. I'm not kidding, from my desk to like, it was massive. So my point is, don't sell yourself short. They're here for the things. They're going to pay for the things that they're here for. So I'm only doing a digital tier, so you guys will not follow this exactly, because I would recommend, usually it's like your ebook, your paperback, your hardback. If you have a series, then do your series collection of ebooks, paperbacks, hardbacks, and then like your higher end tier that's like the best thing they can get. You can add, like, each tier would then have goodies. I think you want anywhere from 7 to 10 or 12 tiers, so you don't want too many. I can't remember what the sweet spot number is, so I'll have to look and see and read about that. I will take you guys through my campaigns, though, for the ones that did have the physical tiers, to kind of take you through what worked and what didn't, because that's the thing, is you want to look at the Kickstarters that are selling well, the ones that are like earning $10,000, you know, or more. I've seen $20,000, $30,000. Now, don't expect that for your first campaign. Like I said, $2,000, $2,385 for my Survivor, and I had 48 backers. Set a reason, like, be reasonable, but look at what's working and what tiers in those high-end ones people are supporting, because that's what readers are wanting right now, and then mimic yours off of that. So that's what to start off with. And it's fun, and you'll get caught up in it. And then I tend to end up supporting other Kickstarters because I see something I want, and then I end up going crazy and spending more money than I should. But that's beside the point. It's a reader's problem. We all understand it. So I had 48 backers, and in mine, the biggest one of the like 8 people for me is a lot, and that was the $5 ebook tier, and it was like the limited edition, and then I did a social media shout out. I had that plus digital swag, so I had 9 people, so they liked the digital swag for $2 more. You got the illustrations and a couple of digital bookmarks. Digital, so that way no printing cost, but you can do prints with like your paperback or whatever, or your hardback. So I had a Valiant ebooks collection and digital swag secret tier for my newsletter, and I did get one backer that supported that tier, so I was really proud that that panned out. Only one person. I did the Valiant series full collection ebooks for $25. This was the most popular one, I think. 11 backers wanted the entire series, so this included all of my main books and all of my short stories. So I have a huge backlist of published books that I can use. If this is your first one, that's fine. You just have to make your the one that you have special, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to have a huge backlist to make this work. So my limited collector's edition paperback, I had 6 backers for that, and that was $30. So that was like and all I did, like I said, I had the illustrations, it was a signed edition, like that sort of thing. So 9 backers or 6 backers for that was like more than I ever could have expected at the $30 tier. Like, do the math, 30 times 6, like, you starting to rack up the numbers here. So did that plus digital swag. That one only one person went for, so that wasn't as popular. So I'm not going to do tiers for that, because that's the thing, is you can learn what people want, what people don't want. So the limited Survivor limited collector hardback for $50 got 4 backers. 50, 100, 50, 200. That's $200 right there just from 4 people. So yes, it's only 4 people, but it's still worth it. Still include the hardback. Okay. It had the same things as the paperback. There's no gold foiling, no sprayed edges, no end papers, no case laminate, nothing. And I still got 4 people. That's $200. So that was still good. That plus the digital swag, kind of like the paperback, there was only one person. People weren't that interested in it. Now the entire series paperbacks, it was $160, because it was normally $100. Yeah. I don't know the math. Yeah, it's normally $100, but I added in the prequel and then the 6 books, so that changes the numbers a little bit, and Immortal. Even though one person, that's $160, so that's still, to me, worth it, because one person did that, that's $160. So that's worth it because of that one person. I did an early bird tier, so that's basically they get either more for the same price, or they get a cheaper price because they're there early and it's gone within the first 24 hours of your campaign. You remove the tier, or it's a setting in Kickstarter. So I had one backer for that, so that's another $160. So, and it was a secret, so it's not secret, but it's the early bird. And the thing about the early bird is the hype of it's going to be over, guys. You got 24 hours, you got 12 hours left, you got 10 hours left, and this is going to be gone. So I offered things in this tier that was going to be gone. The digital version of the notebooks and the extra illustrations from some of the previous books that I know, like the dragons, is super popular. And these bookmarks, like, you can't, once it's gone, it's gone. So that hype got one person. That's $160 extra right there, guys. So then the hardbacks, like I said, I had the Omnibus, Survivor, and Immortal. So essentially, even though I don't have individual hardbacks for like Hunter through Rogue, this tier, you would get the entire series in a hardback form. That was $200. I had 3 backers for that. $200, $400, that's $600 right there on top of the other ones that we had. So already you're reaching the $1,000 threshold just because of these tiers. Then I did that one with the bundle. So like you had the digital tier add-on. That one nobody did, so they don't care about the digital bonus content add-ons. And so I should have made those where they were stretch goals and everybody gets them, because that's not enough to like make its own tier. So that was a tip and not really a mistake, but it's something I learned from. And so yeah, so that's kind of the breakdown of my last one that I just did in November. And so what should you set your goal to? Your funding goal, I've heard this time and time and time again. $500 is a reasonable goal. You can set it lower if you want to. That's fine. It's not going to hurt you to set it lower. 500 at the max. Like for your first campaign, you do not want to do any higher than that, because it's going to take you too long to reach it. Here's the benefit of having a reasonable goal like $500, which for me seems crazy. Like that seems way unreasonable to me because I'm a poor person. But the lower your goal is. See, the goal, Anthea Sharp describes your goal as the floor, not the ceiling. Okay, so that's what you want minimum to make your campaign happen. So for instance, you may have greater needs than $500. You may have like need to pay your editor $1,000 like I did. You're going to hope to do more than what your goal is, but at minimum, you know, $500. Okay. And anything beyond that is like a nice like bonus. But you don't want to set it too high, because in the first 24 hours of your campaign, your spikes are going to hit the first 24 hours and the last 24 hours. Like I would say 48 and 48, and you're going to kind of sag a little bit in the middle. There's going to be sagging points. And so that's what your stretch goals are, to kind of get momentum a little bit before you kind of sag off again and get momentum a little bit. But your spikes are going to be the start of your campaign and the end of your campaign. So the start of your campaign, the first 24 hours, the first 48 hours are crucial. And the sooner you can hit your goal, it'll pop up and you'll get fully funded soon, and people will start seeing it. It'll get momentum. Mine got fully funded in like less than an hour. So it was a huge, I never imagined I would get that goal, but I earned $500 in less than an hour. And that was absolutely shocking to me. Like I was shooketh on that. Okay. And that helps because then you can use Kickstarter's official banners they have where you can do funded in whatever time. And it gives credence to people are like, oh, people are supporting this thing. And it gets your momentum going. And from there, you can just keep the momentum going, you know? And, so that's why you want a reasonable priced goal to start with, because you're hoping to get more than that. But you want your actual goal to be, because then you're 100% funded. And then when you're on when people are looking at your Kickstarter in the search page, they'll see it pop up and it'll be like 100% funded. And then it'll start like the percentage will go up. So it'll be like 300% funded because it's over 300% past your funding goal, just as an example. I don't actually do the math on that. But you see that and that catches people's eyes. You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So your funding goal, $500 is the typical, like what everybody does, especially for your first campaign, $500 goal. If you want to do cheaper, you can. It's not going to hurt you. It'll only help because you'll get funded faster. Okay. In my opinion, I don't know if that's an actual, like, this is a technique you should use. That's just me. So I'm going to try to make this fast because I don't want this video to be too long, but this is the evidence, guys. Like, I literally am poor and I've barely sold anything in my life. I don't have a good fandom. I don't have a good following on social media. My YouTube channel, I'm thankful for the comments that I do get, but it's still minimum. And I have a lot of like 700 subscribers, but it's still not getting like momentum. And I don't know how many people I actually brought over from either my social media, my YouTube channel, my newsletter into this campaign. I actually think we can look at, I wonder if it's the dashboard that shows it. Of course. But my point is, this is evidence that this works for a nobody, okay, who had like zero hope of ever doing anything like this. So it was 476% funded. That's kind of what I was talking about. So You also do like a 20 some odd day campaign. Don't do the full 30 days, but that's a whole other thing. So this was like how it grew. So you see how you like stagnate, and then you'll have some jumps, and you'll have some jumps, and you'll stagnate a little bit. And then your last few days of the campaign, it was kind of stagnate, but I still kind of crawled to the finish line, if you will. So the average pledge was about $49. So $1,638 was from Kickstarter. $747 was from external referrals, which doesn't show me where it was from. But here's the referrer. So the home traffic pledged $516. So somebody saw me on the Kickstarter homepage. An Android deep link backer clicks a project page URL that deep links to the Android app. I don't know what that means, but that was $420 right there. Kickstarter discovery, that was $148. The landing page was $102. The email last chance back. So Kickstarter will send your last chance to back and your project launch. So they'll send those newsletters. That's why you get heavy spikes when you first launch and then your last few days, because the Kickstarter sends out those emails. So that will get you support. So I did get about $89 from Facebook. I have my link tree that has a huge, like the link in bio, like that links to my link tree. So my social media essentially did $85. So that referred 3 people. So basically you can see the evidence here. Like I did not Kickstarter search, the app search, like I didn't do a super lot. Like the direct traffic that had no referral, that doesn't help me out, but that was nine people there. So my point is I was a nobody and I still managed to do this because of the work. So Kickstarter for Authors group is a good resource, and I'm going to try to break it down. This may have to be split into parts because I don't have enough time and I don't want each of these videos to be like an hour long. But I'm really wanting to help you guys out. So the first thing that I think I already have created. So obviously you do the whole thing where you sign in, you make your profile, all that stuff. Let me go to my profile because I already created a campaign. I just haven't done anything with it yet. Those are the ones that I have backed. Here we go. Okay. So my first one was the Painted Scenes original one. My first one was my website, and then my second one, I started it and didn't actually end up doing anything with it, so we're just gonna ignore that. So Immortal was my first actual Kickstarter that like I'm trying to do this, and again 427% funded, 477% funded, so it did better. Here's my I started one and I just saved it. So the thing about your Kickstarter, this thing is you create it and then you submit it to them for approval. If you're going to plan a Kickstarter, you want to do that as soon as possible because it takes like, up to 3 days or whatever for them to approve it. But once they approve it, it's not automatically launched. You can click the launch button whenever you want. And so you can constantly tweak your campaign. And even once it's live, you're going to constantly be changing your banner. You're going to constantly be changing the title and the description and adjusting your story and giving people updates. And so it's not set in stone, so don't feel like you have to have all of this complete. Like just the basic information is all you need to kind of get yourself started. Now you want it to be your best foot forward, right, at all times to attract people, but don't feel the pressure of like I have to know all of this now. And so especially when you're getting started and you're in the pre-launch phase, that's going to be key. Now the pre-launch phase is new to me. I did it a little bit with Survivor. I didn't do one for Immortal. I just sort of launched it and went with it, and somehow it worked out. They have done a lot more on the platform now with pre-launch followers, and you can actually give follower updates now, and that's new. I've never done that before, so that's going to be new to me, is how best to use that. I've seen people use that to determine, okay, what stretch goals we're going to have and what do you guys want, and kind of getting info from your followers of what they would like to see in your campaign. I don't know how much that's going to help me personally, but I mean, it could, and it may change my mind of what I have planned. So obviously your basic information, your title, your subtitle, the category. Typically I only do the first category because they only have one publishing category and it's just fiction or nonfiction. So it's not that crazy detailed. You don't need your location. Now your banner image, you're going to change this a lot. Now, it scared me last time because I had trouble with my banner image where it wouldn't load. And if I would change it, then I would have no banner image. And I'm trying to like promote it and push it like, oh my gosh, I just, you know, this backer author that I swapped with is now sending my campaign to her followers and they're going to see nothing. So I have PTSD. Like, I don't like changing my banner image, but that's what you're gonna have to do. Now 80% of successful projects have a video. Mine was too long, so you got to be quick, like social media quick, minute to 2 minutes, I think maximum, like even less than that. So a minute to or so. I can't remember what Anthea told me, but not a very long video, and you want to showcase the book. Bethany Adazada's, if you go check out her Kickstarter page, even if you don't want to support her, look at her video. Hers was really good. It was like the perfect length. It like showed off her book. It did all the things it needed to do. Hers is it was really like well filmed and well produced with like basic stuff, like, and it was a really good job. So check out her video on the Kickstarter. And then your goal amount, which is that $500, and you can use your calculator to estimate all the things, because they do take a percentage and they do take out fees and all that stuff, which we can get over later. So now some of this may look scary, but it's not quite as scary as you think. Now, late pledges is like backers who, okay, this is new. Because late pledges, I enabled it last time, but it didn't have late pledge over time. That's new. Backers with pledges of 125 over will have the option to either pay for their pledge in full or over 3 payments at no extra cost. I don't know if I like that or not. We'll figure it out. Fixed number of days, which would make it end automatically. Charge shipping at pledge or charge shipping post campaign. See actual shipping costs when adding rewards and add-ons. Backer will pay their pledge total, including any applicable shipping costs when your campaign ends successfully. I'll probably ship at pledge. I think that's what I did. Late pledges, this is what I was talking about, where I was, once your campaign ends, say somebody else just now saw your campaign, like, oh man, I really wanted to pledge the Kickstarter, but it ended. You can enable late pledges, which is where they could late pledge, and still pledge to your campaign, and you'll get a second round of payments. I think it's like every week or 2 weeks or something like that. So it scared me at first, because I was like, I need to have everything set in stone. So I enabled late pledges, but not any the physical. Like, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't the physical tiers, if that makes sense. Because I didn't want to have to worry about extra shipping and all that stuff. And like, I wanted to order all of the physical stuff, like, and know the number of physical things I needed to order, like the 9 or the 6 backers for the paperbacks or whatever. I didn't want to have to figure out, oh, well, somebody else pledged and now I got to order another one, you know, that kind of thing. So it just was easier for me to deal with. But that's your basic information, your rewards. Now you start off, you can't just make your reward tier. You have to link your reward tier to items. So the first thing you're going to, like, say your reward tier is like I did with my paperback and the digital items. Okay. Like, it comes with an art sticker. Well, you can't just be like, it comes with an art sticker. So you have to create the item for your book. And then the art sticker is an item. Like, everything in your reward is an item, if that makes sense. So your ebook, your paperback, your hardback, your art, like each individual art print you may be doing, each digital art print, each book. So for mine, I have to do Hunter, Shifter, Samurai, Assassin, Hunter, Shifter, Samurai, Assassin, Rogue, Survivor, Mortal, Immortal, the Omnibus, all individual ebooks, individual paperbacks, individual hardbacks if I'm doing that, all the digital art, all, like, everything that I am doing has to be an item. So you're going to go through there, and it's not that it's tedious more than anything else, but you type it in what it is, like Hunter ebook, for example, and then you upload a file. So I created these with Canva, and so I actually have a bunch of them saved. Okay, this is editing Joanna here. I had to do a voiceover as I was working in the background because I actually couldn't find my original Canva images, and when I remembered it, I thought that you put a background on it. So basically, I explained all of this to you guys wrong. So as the video clip is playing in the background, I put you guys can see the image there that I posted over it, which is essentially you want to have a white background because it makes it easier to see, and you just put whatever the item is, whatever the reward tier is, which again was for me, like in the example here, is Survivor first ebook, and then a thank you shout out on social media. So I put that beside there. So essentially the item image is just a plain white background and a mock-up of what the reward tier is, or what the item is in this case. And so in the item, it wouldn't be even the shout out for thank you. It would just be the ebooks. You can find 3D book mock-ups online. You can Google that. That's what I use. And so you would do that for your ebook, your paperback, your hardback. You would do that for any bookmarks or art pieces, like whatever is in your reward tier. Just put it on a white background, use the Instagram square shape, and then you upload that image to your campaign in the Kickstarter page. It's really simple, really easy. You can do it with Canva for free. It doesn't cost anything to do a free, like a plain white background and everything. So just to kind of re-explain, because I forgot everything, and so as I was editing this, I remembered and I found the picture. So yeah, that's basically how to make the images. Again, plain white background, and then just a mock-up of whatever the item is as a picture for the item images. And you'll do the same thing for the reward tiers, but the reward tier will have all of the items in the reward in the picture instead of just the item in the item picture. So yeah, anyways, back to the video. But that's kind of an example. And so you save all of your images that you need for each item in your reward tier, and then you just make the image and you say what the item is, and that's it. You don't have to add a description or anything like that. And then once you have your item, you can go to reward tier and you do new reward, and then in the reward you link your item to the reward tier and you describe what it is. Your story is going to be your landing page. So, and you use lots of images and don't have a lot of blocky text on it. So essentially in your story, you're not going to want a whole lot of blocky text. You want it broken up by a lot of images. So I'm just going to use my Survivor one as an example, because I had Anthea. She also, not only she has her ebook, but she has this where you can pay her $50 and she goes through your campaign and like basically edits your whole campaign for you, where she points out the things that you need to adjust and fix. And so the reason why mine did as well as it did was because of her. So essentially my story looked like this. You have the hook. You want your hook for the overall, your title is going to be like what it is, not what not anything about the book or like you need your title, obviously. So it's not just a generic title. It is literally like, what is this? Is it a hardback? Is it an omnibus? It is a special edition? Is it a limited edition, collector's edition? Like, what is this? And what's the genre? So like epic fantasy dystopian limited edition, like that was my thing. That's what it called. And then your hook is like your line that like hooks people in and draws them in, which I can go over a whole nother video. Let me know if you guys want a whole nother video about your hook and all that stuff, because I suck at those things, but it's kind of is what it is. So mine was pretty like, okay, it's this meets this. Like if you're fans of this thing, this is what you're gonna do. And for me, I find that it's this meets this marketing easier to draw people in because it gives them something familiar to go off of, but adding in what you make differently. So it's like, yeah, it's Survivor meets the Hunger Games, but it's deadly and it's a standalone fantasy kind of thing. It is part of a series, but you can read it as a standalone. So then you're going to have your hook, which I repeated that. And I wanted to clarify, it's book 6 in the Valiant series, but you can read it in any order. And then you usually, once your campaign starts going, you'll have your like stretch goal announcements. So we just did this stretch goal and now we're working toward this thing. And then you'll have like a tropes list like this, where it has all of the tropes listed. You guys can pause if you want to see that. And then your, like I said, your banners. Now this time I'm going to do bigger banners, where they're more like the actual banner, like this size, because I saw Bethany and I think she was going to do those size. So I'm going to try those out and see how it works. But I did these little thin ones. So about the book, so what the book is itself, like the blurb essentially, and then what this edition of the book is and what it's got in it and like what are they getting. So your book specs are going to go in there. So I was going to skip over that, but I kept getting told like include all of the book specs. So the genre, trim size, the page count, the formats, the romantic subplot, or like the genre, basically the gore, language, what's inside this edition specifically, which if you have the foiled editions and the in papers and the maps and like all those things, like anything that makes this special, include there. And then I put the bonus PDF. So what is it? And then I broke down each of those things, and then I had pictures for each of those things to kind of break it up and like be like, this is what you get. And then because it's part of a series, I have about the series, and so include a lot of like little emojis and things to kind of the visuals so that there's not a whole lot of blocky text. and I did a banner with like all of the books there. I really love that. And so then I did a huge a trope graphic for each of the books in my series, which I was told by a lot of people made it really long and to trim this section, but I didn't, just because I wanted the tropes list free. So if you're like, oh, hey, I really, really like, you know, this trope here from this book, but I could care less about the previous one. So you're like only interested in Rogue. Like it'll get people like, you know, I may not like this book, but I'm hooked on this one for the different series. So that was that thing. The rewards, so this is where you go over your tiers in detail. So I have like the tier title, the description for it, and then the picture for what the tier is. So I found the white background with the item that is in the tier and the title of what it was. I put those in Canva, was easier and looked better and more professional. So same thing, title, what it is, the picture. So I went through each of the tiers, which I just broke down for you guys. And then your add-ons. So once they have a tier, if there's something else that you want to like enable them to like add on to their, like say you have book 1 in a series, or you have your series, but what if you have another series or a backlist or something? You could offer them like, hey, you can add on this other book that I have that you may be interested in, or you can add on the art prints to your tier. Say you have the digital tier, but you want some physical art prints or a bookmark sent in the mail. You can have that as an add-on. You can have, you know, whatever it is that you want. So I had the omnibus, ebook paperback, the individual books as a series, and then the individual signed paperbacks as an add-on. So like, for instance, if you wanted the Survivor limited edition paperback, but you also wanted Shifter, but you're not interested in Samurai because you don't care about that sort of genre, then you could just get each of these books would be like an add-on you could get individually to cater it to like what they want, essentially. Now, your stretch goals are for the campaign to keep up momentum when it slows down. So that's why in previous times I had like, oh, when we reach $1,000, we're going to unlock this stretch goal. And this campaign, that's what I did with Immortal. So with this campaign, I learned from Anthea and all the other authors, like, do not have a price tag, like amount attached with your stretch goals, because you want to be able to like be like, it's locked, and then if you start losing momentum and your campaign just kind of flattens out, you can be like, hey, we've reached a new stretch goal, we've unlocked this stretch goal, and you can get momentum back because you're anticipating this next one. And like offering, like, the stretch goals are basically how to make this more special for everybody. So it has to be something that you can add on to every tier. So like every person who is backed, whether they're the digital backers or the physical backers, get this thing that gets added to the campaign to make it special. So a lot of people do like, oh, it's a basic book now, but now we're going to add sprayed edges. And because we've reached this amount of money, we can now do sprayed edges for everybody, except the digital tiers. I don't know how that would work. Same thing with like a map. Oh, like, if we reach this amount of money, I'm going to add a map to the book, or this amount of money, we're going to unlock a new illustration. Like, there's all kinds of things they can do. You can pause and look at mine here. So backers' names added to the acknowledgements page, bookmarks, illustrated scenes, brand new illustration design. Like, my character Reeve would not have had an illustration without that. And like, my editor designed a sketch after the campaign was over, but like that allowed me, so like the postcard prints, digital stuff, like all those things. A lot of people do an audiobook if you reach a certain goal, because like that's usually high. So you'll like the closed lock for the ones that are locked, the open lock for the ones that are open. And I really liked to do like the green means it's unlocked, and like the white means we haven't unlocked it yet. A lot of people will show like a blurred version of the illustration, for example, with a lock over it, and like when it unlocks, it'll become black and white, or it'll be like color and the unlock pops off, you know, that sort of thing, however you want to do the graphics. So I broke down all of those. Campaign updates, so this is where you break down everything that's happened in the campaign so far, what you've unlocked. So this is like, we had the dedication, so we did like what, the first 4? Yeah, we did. I managed to hit 4 stretch goals in this. So it was like, typically it's like every $500 or so, but you can do whatever you want. So the backers' names, bookmark, and illustration. And I let them vote on which bookmark they wanted. So for sure, you guys are going to get the special Survivor themed one and an illustration. So now I had them vote using the backer updates, linking to a poll, which ones they wanted. And that was the one that won. Illustrated artwork prints. So like, you could vote for your favorite, and the top 2 will be chosen for which ones they wanted to have sent to them. Brand new illustration unlock. So like I did the, again, grayed out with a question mark. And then the next one I was going to work toward is stickers of all of these sketches that my author my editor did. So then last is going to be about the author, and then meet the team if you work with people. And so credit anybody who's helped you with your book. So I did cover designer, the illustrator, artist, and then my editor, and link to their social so that your team, essentially everybody who helped you create this book, is mentioned. And then why Kickstarter, and like why you've done Kickstarter. And then you have one for shipping, and then your timeline, be very clear about how long it's going to take for everything. And then probably like a what readers think, or like, you know, the credits kind of stuff. Like this is where you mention your reviews and like all that stuff. So the risks and challenges is last, where you have to be open and honest about, okay, this is what potentially could go wrong, and this could add extra work, like extra time to the campaign, and like this could cause extra issues, but this is how I'm going to overcome those things. And that will be the very last thing on your list. So I will do more videos in the future breaking down each of these specifically. Like I have to go over like make sure I do the research for like Anthea's like book, and make sure I'm hitting all the right things, because I don't want to teach you guys wrong. But I can teach you guys specifically how to like word things, and like what you know what goes in the basics, and like actually creating it. And as I create Hunters, I will break it down with you, so be checking out and watch out for those. Subscribe to this channel, especially if you want to be on the lookout for those. And if you want more, let me know in the comments below. And in the meantime, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below of like your opinion on Kickstarter as a reader and as an author, and if you're interested in doing that, and like what you would like to see from me, and like what would help you feel more comfortable with Kickstarter, and like what I can teach you, what you're interested in learning about this. Because for me, this is like the best way I have ever found to make money as an author, and the most money I've ever made has come from these 2 Kickstarters. Thank you guys for watching to the end of the video. Please be sure to check out Hunter's Kickstarter 7th anniversary Kickstarter edition. The link will be in the description below, especially if you love Mulan and the Hunger Games mixed together, but for adults with action-packed epic fantasy, enemies to lovers, no spice romance. Check it out. You don't want to miss it. Link is in the description below. So thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, although I may only stick to Mondays now. And in the meantime, if you liked me breaking down this Kickstarter campaign, go check out my previous 2. I'll have them here so you guys can get more information about the Kickstarter and how to make money as an author, because Kickstarter is the best way to do it. Let's go. Let's make this happen, guys. Let's move over to Kickstarter.